First of all, congratulations on the film. I saw it yesterday and I really, really enjoyed it. And I enjoyed your performances in it as well. Um, this is a really interesting story, the story of Sir Gawain and the Green Knights. And it's got a message like how people, like no matter how noble they can be, like they're still human, they can still be prone to make mistakes. Would you say that this message is like more like relevant now than it was like when it was first written?
Oh, look, I think it's always relevant. The idea of what we set out to prove of ourselves or what we think will make us noble or honorable or famous often doesn't match up with what we know ourselves to be capable of. And I think we're all hopefully on a journey to be better people. But if we're identifying with what we're seen and perceived as on the outside, often the choices in order to be perceived as great lead us into being not great along the way, if that makes any sense. And I think it's always relevant in human experience.
And speaking of journeys, Sir Gawain, he goes through like an incredible journey, emotional and physical, throughout this entire film. So this is for Dev. Did you feel like you went through a personal journey through the making of this film as well?
Yeah, I feel that in most films I do, but particularly this one. I think, I really look at the directors I work with as mentor figures, and if you're lucky enough to have someone like David, you can really just submit to someone like that. And it is a process of submission, my process, and to be in the nature like that and submit to that too. It was like really, it was a physical journey as much as it was an internal journey. You see that very much play out on the screen, and I really just enjoyed every moment of it. I thought it was amazing.
And I like that you mentioned the director too, because he's made a lot of really interesting films in the past. Like one of my favorites was A Ghost Story. And just like that, this requires like a lot of atmosphere and a lot of patience from the audience. So for both of you, what was it like working with David and his style of storytelling?
Go for it, man.
I think a director's previous work sets the table for your expectations when you come to work with them. And I just knew that this is a guy who goes to the end of the experience with each film that he makes, to look at a film like A Ghost Story and then go, oh, now he's dealing with a much broader canvas and a period film. And yet, almost what to expect, that he's going to really lean into that experience. I really like being in the safe hands of a really smart and intuitive and sensitive director. And David was everything that I could have hoped for, plus more. And I think the film, it speaks for itself in terms of his ability to really set a table for himself in each world that he creates that is worth, sitting down to eat at. It's so plush and visual, and yet very personal on the same level, very intimate.